From Manus Studios in League City, Texas, it's Pabst and Kwin Podcast. Here's your host, Pabst and Kwin. Take it, fellas.
I'm Pabst Tyler, and I play the blues.
I'm enjoying the jam. And I'm Kwin.
Welcome to our podcast where we talk about anything and everything blues and happening in the Galveston, Houston, and surrounding areas. Kwin, what are we going to talk about on this week's show?
Well, I think we should roll back Father Time and tell everybody not only how it all began, but how did the Houston Texans play a role in that?
Not only are we going to tell everybody how it all began, we're going to tell everybody about how it's progressed and what we're up to now. We got all kinds of exciting new things to share with y'all.
You got that right, Paps. All of it's exciting. I can't wait to share it with everybody as well. Coming your way, everybody. Stay tuned.
Until you use me up. Until you use me up.
All right, welcome everyone to the Pabst and Kwin Podcast. It's an exciting day, isn't it, Kwin?
Very.
We are so happy to do our first episode here. We got a lot to talk about. Say we tell everybody who we are and what we do today, and then we'll talk a little bit about what all we're going to do on our show.
All right. Well, I'm Kwin.
I'm Pabst. We're from Galveston, Texas.
We are Galveston, Texas.
I was lucky enough to just make that change recently. So Kwin, everybody's probably wondering who Pabst and Kwin are. So why don't we just start from the beginning? In your eyes, how did our journey start together?
Our journey started, the short version, of course. To me, our journey started with a hoodie, a Houston Texans hoodie, and it's a coincidence we were in the same bar when you were wearing that hoodie. But two things to me kind of put it together, and it was the hoodie and Sabrina, the bartender. Because I looked at you and was like, man, Houston Texans, cool. We're going to drink. And Sabrina's like, yeah, he's cool, da-da-da-da-da. And then I guess you and, what's your friend's name with the acoustics? Y'all went and played something.
Alex Cooper.
Alex.
Yeah.
So the Houston Texans hoodie, Sabrina, and then going and watching you go up there and play. That's kind of how it started to me. And then, of course, I asked you if you played blues. Because I myself was by myself, freshly up from New Orleans.
Yeah, that was in Franklin, Ohio, the tavern. Yeah. Lots of good times at the tavern.
Back in where's the Aussies would say? 13. Yeah, right. Back in 2014, 13.
Yeah, it's a pretty similar story for me. It started with the hat for me, though. I'm in Franklin, Ohio, around where I grew up, and randomly I'm the only Houston Texans fan in town. No affiliation with them or anything. But I'm at the bar where I hosted an open mic night, and I was like, what the heck is this dude doing in a Houston Texans hat here? And that's what striked up the conversation.
Sporting it.
You asked me if I played blues. It's like, I like a little bit of everything, but never really tried blues. I was even still learning how to sing and everything then. And like you said, Sabrina, the bartender at the tavern, she let us go grab our gear and just play on the backstage on a dead Friday night because there's nobody else there. So you taught me a few things, and the rest is history.
So how do you explain when people ask us about the age difference? Because to most other people, when they experience that age difference, there's a complete, even if you pick people, say take country western for country music for a great example. If we were both in the country music I got into was way back when, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard's, Farron Young's.
Yeah, country's nothing like that now.
At all. So just in the difference within the same genre of age usually creates a taste conflict of some sort when people are trying to identify the band, and because the youth has their emotions, the olders have their emotions.
Yeah.
We never ever had a conflict like that, but I attribute that to how much music you've been exposed to all your life. I'll let you explain to them about your dad and
yeah, I know
DJ
that it is
stuff.
an odd dynamic we got there to some people, but it's not odd to me when we play, because we play very well together and just always have. And like I said, I wasn't huge into blues, didn't know a whole lot. As far as I knew, blues was just, that's the music you play when you want to drink tonight. And it was really good for that, but never really dove in, didn't know much about it. But I grew up listening to classic rock, taking CDs from my dad's CD cabinet and stuff. The Rolling Stones were huge for me when I was a kid. And as I got a little older, I went to school for audio engineering, so I started to learn how other music's made, get a more wider range of music appreciation, to where I kind of like a little bit of everything. That you told me about blues, and I really started to listen to some stuff and dive in. I was just fascinated with a lot of people.
and let me just kind of add something to that for you. I'm being a dinosaur. I've been around and played with a lot of other dinosaurs. But you know how rare it is when you're like, you go up, you play guitar. Like for instance, I went to Dallas, went to an open mic, walked up to the band and just say, "Can I borrow your bass player and your drummer?" Because I knew they knew blues. And he's like, "Sure, da-da-da-da." I said, "Cool. Give me 4 songs and I'll let you have it back." He starts laughing. He doesn't know me from Adam. And man, I was carrying Granddad in those days.
That's a beauty guitar.
And I'm the boss up there. So it's like I took the day off, sat at home, just worked over whatever songs I thought I was going to play. So I go up there and I say, "All right, guys, here's what I'd like to do. Let's start with a shuffle. We'll play 1 or 2 of these other jam songs, and then I want to end on Red House." And it's like, first off, understand, Dallas, I have no ill will against you. I just hate you. I'm not a Cowboy fan, right? But what got me is all of these people that showed up like they were players. And like I'd ask a couple of them, "Hey man, do you do some blues? You want to go up? I'm a guitar player. I'll do some lead or whatever." No, yeah, fine, whatever. So I was actually kind of getting an attitude at these people. Just before I got up, this black chick comes up wearing leather, whips out an acoustic guitar, throws down the best Tracy Chapman I ever heard, and not a damn asshole in the crowd applauded for her. So that helped. Yeah, dude, that's what helped my attitude. So here I go off, man. I'm like, we're going to Red. These guys are like, "Dude, you're killing it." I said, "We're killing the last one too, and it's Red House." It's like, man, here I am doing angry guitar at these people. Da-da-da-da-da, bam! And I turn around, walk to my amp, start unplugging. I could care less whatever's going on behind me with these people. I get on myself. These 2 guys are like, "Dude, that was a lot of fun, man. I wish everybody." I said, "Guys, beer will be on me up there in a little bit, man." And so as what I'm heading to is when I turn around, you have all these but dude, man, could you show me how to play lead like that? Or, do you need a bass player? You want to join a band? You know how all that goes. You probably got it from when you do your shows. And man, I'll never forget how angry about it. But that's the difference in different folks. And you and I never really hit anything like that.
Right. At least not you and I, maybe with some past forms of the band and everything, which we'll get into here through this story. But
folks, when we first were getting our first show together, when we were first getting our first show or 2 together, we had this list of songs, and we're like, well, to avoid who's going to pick what, we're like, why don't you pick the order and I'll pick the order, and then we'll look at it and we'll go from that. And all but like 1 or 2 songs would be off.
Yeah, that was a good sign. Things
Yeah,
were going to work out fine. Yeah. Pretty much wrote down.
So
the
we've
same
never
song
had conflict with what we were going to do. We just looked at what we want to do and find the best way to do it. And then I tell this little slacking asshole, how come he doesn't have all the production work done yet? We just videoed it. Oh, well, what? You need another minute? No, seriously, man, that's where all the work goes, dude, and I totally appreciate it.
Oh yeah. We do a lot more than just play music. I mean, obviously music's our thing, but we're working on like this right here, the podcast. We've got movie ideas, comedy ideas. So we have a lot of fun doing production. But to what you were saying, though, it just kind of made me think too, like similar story, and you were there for it. Like when we first went back there on that backstage at a bar, I would have never imagined. I was like, man, this guy's really good at
Who's
guitar.
this old dude?
This guy's really good at guitar. I'm not going to be able to keep up. I'm not going to be able to play that kind of stuff. But, you know, you taught me just a little pentatonic scale. So then I started to understand things a little bit. And I'll never forget, there's a little bar in Middletown, the Old Crow Bar.
Oh, man.
Middletown, Ohio. Like, real hole-in-the-wall place, but they had this huge stage, best sound ever. Like, they always ran perfect sound for you there. Obviously, you remember, because you were going there a lot before then,
Yeah.
but
I had gotten to know those
You took me to
guys.
this guy's open jam, Jimmy Rogers. If anybody's up in the Dayton, Cincinnati, Ohio area, definitely
Jimmy,
check
we
Jimmy
hope
out.
this gets to you somehow,
He is
brother.
one of the
Love to see,
absolute
love to play with you again.
best musicians out there, piano player, bass
Yeah.
player, singer. I've seen him play harmonicas. The dude does it all. But we would go out to his open jam, and it was so terrifying for me because Quinn here looks at me, and he's like, so here in a little bit, Jimmy's just he's gonna do his thing, and he's gonna start inviting people up, and, you know, we'll just say we're a couple guitar players, and he'll tell us what key we're playing and stuff. Just watch me. I'll help you out if you forget, but we're just gonna go jam with these guys. I'm like, I gotta know what song I'm playing. Like, I didn't rehearse this, nothing. We go up on this stage and he says it. He tells us a key, a pattern it's in. Next thing you know, we all just start playing. And that is what did it for me right there. It's like, yeah, I like blues. I've never, like, it's so cool. You can just walk up on a stage, jam with some people if everybody else likes playing blues.
You know, that was a very special night for both of us. Not sure if you really recognize it, but I had been lucky before, like back in Austin, playing music, that I played the guy who led a band that I played in for years named Ricky. Ricky, when we'd get through a whole set, if they wanted more, Ricky would just turn around, he'd look at Carl, who was our drummer, and he'd say, Carl, give me something like a dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum. All right. And he'd start that dum-pa-dum-pa-dum-pa-dum, and he'd look at me, and this is, I was playing bass for him. He's like, Kev, can you give me something? He just turned around and kind of guide you into what he was getting, and then he'd turn around, he'd say some stuff, do some guitar magic, and then boom, all of a sudden we're playing Pink Floyd, or we're playing what have you. But when we got up there behind Jimmy, Jimmy asked me the first time that I showed up there, he says, I went out and played a couple songs, and they went real well. And he's like, man, we don't have another guitar player here tonight. You mind? I'm like, no. He says, what do you need from me for what we're going to play? I said, just tell me what key we're in. That's all. I've been fortunate to have to follow somebody before, so I wasn't totally in the dark. Now you were totally in the dark. The compliment, it still makes me nervous, but it's just the greatest thrill when you walk up, you go through something like that, and you come out all right out of it, and you're like, wow.
Oh, yeah, it's an adrenaline rush.
So Jimmy looked at me, he said, dude, you're like one of the better guitar players that's ever just sat behind me knowing nothing of the show, that just handled your business, and tell your boy over there, he gonna be just as good as you.
Yeah.
And dude, from Jimmy,
one of the best compliments I ever got.
Thanks,
to
Jimmy.
this day. Like, Jimmy's seriously a guy, like, when I talk about people I
Dude,
look
tell
up
him
to,
what
like,
he won, how
like
he got to
Buddy
Memphis.
Guy, B.B. King, Albert King, all the greats. Like, I put Jimmy up there in my book just from what he showed me, and one of the best compliments I ever got.
Jimmy was a keyboard player primarily.
We went up to an open jam he had, and this was after I was a little more experienced. We had been playing together for a while, and we got off the stage, and Jimmy looked at me and said, "You're a hell of a front man." I was like, "Man, you have no idea how much that means to me, seriously." But well, he was saying...
He said, "Yeah, you know, Paps, you a hell of a front man. Now, you mind front me $20 until Friday, is it?"
Well, what he was saying, too, was that band we went up there that hosted this open jam, his band Blues Breakdown, they actually won the Cincinnati Blues Challenge back home where I'm from, and went on to Memphis into the semifinals. And
That's pretty good stuff.
so, I mean, these guys will never quit. They just keep doing it, and they keep getting better. But yeah, I mean, it's a big reason we're even here doing what we're doing right now. So after you got me comfortable playing blues and stuff, we were jamming all the time.
But what made it is in the beginning, and I started this, sorry folks, I veered off, but when we were first kind of met and started playing and made this little list, and I went off on how we each guessed similar, let me tell you what he did differently. When you meet people and they all want to play music, it's like, what song you want to do? Well, let's work on these 3 songs to begin with. Okay, A, B, and C. Terrific. So the next time you get together, they're like, okay, so how does A go? And it's kind of like, really it's called homework.
Oh, man.
And this guy did homework.
You got to.
And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, man, I really didn't expect him to deliver that. Brought his homework, did his homework, so we started cutting through songs in no time at all. Then we go out and practice them out at the open mics, and shit, now we moved to Nashville. You want to touch on that
Well,
one?
I mean, before that, though, we had, like, the original Pabst and Kwin 1.0. We got to where we were playing open mics all the time.
Indeed.
It was just he and I. Then we met a guy, TJ, I work with, Sticks McSwain, if you're hearing this. Shout out to you, playing drums
He's
for
the
us.
drummer in our YouTube live videos
It was
before Nashville.
It was really cool. We actually just played a show up in Ohio as well, and we got to bring him back for a show with us. It was a lot of fun. But so we had him. Eventually we said, let's get a bass player. We're going to start a band, So we did, and it was great. I mean, we got our song list up to like 24, 25 songs. I mean, he and I, it was probably over 30 because we just hung out and jammed all the time. If we weren't playing music, we played golf, and then we went home and played music.
And then the Legends.
Yeah. Once that band kind of going south, because you kind of hit that chord with me with the homework, that was one of the problems where, it's tough playing with other people if you're trying to take it serious and nobody wants to do homework. And then we even ran into creative differences. It's like, you're the only person I've ever played with that wants to play blues. We've had a couple bands, including that one. I've had another band where you try to start a blues band and now everybody wants to play pop country and pop music, especially where I'm from. Like, that's all the rage, the new pop country music.
And dude, if you happen to be watching this, that was not cool to want to take a whole band toward country.
Yeah, so once that chilled out, we kind of went back to just doing our thing, and we got in this little Get the Gig contest at a venue up there called JD Legends. Playing acoustic, neither one of us are really big acoustic players at all. We like to play guitar solos and stuff with our fun Les Pauls and Telecasters.
It's acoustics that were plugged in, but my acoustic died like 15 minutes before
that was crazy. That's probably one of the crazier gig stories
check what this guy did before we could play this, and we got it done.
So they didn't have, I asked, you got a microphone we can mic a guitar with? They're like, we just got these mics, they're not that great. Don't know how well it's going to work out, but you guys are about to go on, we'll have to try it. And I just, it was like last ditch effort, post on Facebook.
Never would have believed it.
Emergency, does anybody have an acoustic electric guitar we could borrow in about 10 minutes at JD Legends, Franklin, Ohio. Sure enough, one of my friends, John Wilson, man, if you're out there hearing this, I still freaking love you for that to this day.
Dude,
When an old friend of mine he lived in the area, ran straight over, brought us a guitar. So now this guy's playing the show on a guitar he's never even felt before. It's literally, here you go, he tunes it up.
It was pretty rough.
It's showtime, and the way this thing worked was you played with several other single or duo acoustic acts, and they'd go 3 at a time. You'd alternate songs, and then the fans vote at the end. And the judges scored it somehow. I don't remember exactly how the scoring went, but there was actually another. I followed him since, a really good younger blues player. It was Bonner Chafin was his name. He ended up winning that night. Props to you, man. I've seen some of the stuff you're doing. This kid's killing it right now.
Cool. We ought to go find him.
But and he plays the same kind of music we like to play. And he actually came up. He loved it at the end. We played "What Kind of Woman Is This" by Buddy Guy. That was the first time I ever stepped out and got a crowd to start clapping with us and stuff. So that was fun in itself.
I remember that.
But we may not have won that night. We actually ended up impressing the venue enough. We got a few paid gigs after that. Played at their little venue,
What
little
was his
acoustic
name?
sets, just like we did. Waspy at JD Legends. Yeah.
Waspy was a cool guy. He liked us so much he gave me access to the calendar. Said, "Hey, here, go on and put the band in where you want to, but not too much." But
people do that. Which that's something we'll talk about our website at some point. That's something we're kind of flirting around with doing for some venues out there that need some good blues music in the house. So yeah, I mean that was like Pabst and Kwin 1.0. We got back with TJ and played without a bass player for a while after that, and that actually was fun. It was kind of crazy that we didn't sound empty without a bass player.
No, actually, it's quite amazing. If you go out and look at YouTube of the, we had, what's his name? God, I can never remember. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, because that's around the time we kind of there's a little bar, River's Edge, there in Franklin. That they were never super busy and stuff. They're flirting around with ideas of what they can do for entertainment and how they can bring people in. So we started playing there every week just to do it. It wasn't a paid gig or anything. They loved us out there. So me, Quinn, and our old drummer TJ, we'd pack up there once a week. We'd go out there and play. Man, those were some of the funnest times. We'd go out there, we'd have a few beers, and we'd just play blues, man. There wasn't a plan to how the night was going to go. We just played blues, and we all had fun doing it. It was amazing.
I'll tell you what else was cool is we knew which of the places that we liked playing that always had the best pizza. Hey, hats off to the Barrel, thank you. And Fig Leaf.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, those are 2 damn good pizzas.
Golly.
And I'm talking up where we're in Galveston, Texas area now, and we got great food down here, but back up there's not many good food. So yeah, when you run across a venue that has something, it's always pizza when it's really good for some reason. But
yeah,
you guys have
Fig
no
Leaf
idea how
threw down
special
on one of the
y'all are
best
just
I
for having
had.
good food up there.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, I never really thought about that, all the different good food at different places you play. We're playing at the Barrel tonight. We're getting a pizza for dinner. You playing that a week ahead? We're getting pizza Monday or.
Yeah. So as we got our little band going, we played together for 2-3 years with TJ, and turned out he and I played golf together. We ended up playing disc golf.
Oh yeah.
So we had a lot of similar hobbies.
Other recreational fun times we like to have sometimes.
Right.
And then eventually, we got the idea. We started recording some music. We set up in the house I was living in a garage.
We built our first studio.
Mantis Studios ended up.
And let me tell you where Mantis came from. I have a picture of Tyler. He's kind of he's thin and stuff, so he's kind of leaning over this little desk like this, and got a smoke hanging out of his mouth of some sort. And we had this little mixer, and his little computer's right here. Well, he'd sit there, and I'd sit over here and talk, and all of a sudden, one night, boom, right there on the end of the mixer drops the praying mantis, a large green one. And we're like, yeah, right. And all of a sudden, that thing went like, hey, man, don't talk back to me.
Oh, yeah, man.
And Tyler started doing some stuff like this and that, and then this thing starts marching on at him. So he took it over, and it became Mana Studios ever since. But we have a picture of it for our historical archive.
Yeah, so that's why everywhere we set up studio, that's our Mana Studio locations. And we do a lot. We got a lot of recordings that we started doing.
So the first songs we recorded there was Nine Below, What Kind of Woman?
And the tribute to BB.
The tribute to BB.
Which is actually out on Spotify right now. Y'all go check us out on Spotify. There's a couple cool songs out there. One of them, we'll get to the story later, but...
You know, some songs people play, it sounds mechanical, some just sing rhythmic, and then every so often you find a song that has content that people feel. And I'll say this, man, even as old as that recording is to us now, that tribute, I listened to it, and it's like everything went so perfect in the recording. Like, I think the lead only took me a couple tries, and I couldn't have been happier with the lead that I put down on that song. It was
crazy how
BB.
some of those recordings work, because we did some really good ones. So like something like that, like the tribute, there's a whole part in the middle where I just go off on this talk and pay tribute to the king, and
it was heartful.
It was very heartfelt.
It truthfully was heartful.
It
that
just
was
happened,
pretty cool.
Just like we did a few different lead guitar takes on that song, and the last one is probably some of our favorite lead guitar we've recorded of yours. Was kind of like, whoa, where did I get that from? It was a little different than what you would normally play on the other takes.
Let me just say this, and this is a promise to y'all because you want to hear this. On another podcast, not this one, we'll be wrapping this one up, but in a future podcast, I will tell y'all how we recorded a songs back in the Red Lion, Mana Studio Red Lion. We'll start with that one.
Recordings and how they work, because there's some crazy things.
But what would be amazing is he'd do the drums, then he'd do a bass, then he'd do his vocals, and he'd go, "Hey Quinn, come out here," and and we'd sit down, and he'd sit there, and he'd reach in the ice chest, pull out a cold beer. Psst, here you go, dude. Here, take this beer. Now let me tell you, this song. Here's how we're going to set it. So I'm going to go through all of this with y'all in a future podcast of how he would prepare everything and everybody for us to do our recordings.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you listen to some of the lead on some of those songs that we recorded. I've got a couple songs out there. I cannot figure out how I did the lead on that.
Yeah.
That's how interesting that is. So... I
ended up doing some bass lines eventually. It took me a minute to sit down and relearn what I did. And it was just stuff that literally pick up the bass, hit record, and whoa, that sounded cool.
Yeah, right.
So that's a whole episode within itself. Like so many, and just the evolution of how it all went, what we started from, and with equipment wise, where we're at now.
I think on our next podcast we ought to start with how we did those little recordings, because that really set us up to relocate. We'll talk about that too, but in our next podcast,
absolutely,
we'll start with all that of how we got Red Lion, Mana Studios Red Lion running with a full head of steam, and some of the adventures that happened therein.
Lots of adventures, lots of them.
Well, this has been fun, you know?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, really, though, all that, like you mentioned it, that led up to us saying, you know what, we're getting good at this. Let's move to Nashville.
Well, that lady that watched us play from Louisville. She's the one who said, "Hey, man, I think this dude," and then this dude caught one of our videos. He's like, "Oh, yeah, we can get y'all work up here, no problem." Yeah. So that's when we thought, man, we can go up there, take a shot at getting to play in Nashville and relocate there, and we did.
Yeah, and then the only problem with it was, what year did we move there?
It was the Christmas before. It was December before COVID.
Right before 2020, yeah. So we got us a band together.
So 2019, we moved. December 2019, moved to Nashville.
Yep. All right, so we're back. So like I said, 2020 Nashville, that doesn't really work out. You ended up heading back down this way.
Yeah, I went to New Orleans. And you went back to Ohio.
Yep. I went back
and
to...
And COVID sucked everywhere.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. Everywhere. I mean, it felt like it was a little bit better in Ohio, but you still really couldn't do much, and we weren't playing
They shut
anymore.
all the bars down in Nashville and New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
There was no music being played. It was horrible.
So, anyway, I mean, all kinds of time goes by before we kind of, don't really say lost touch, but we weren't playing music or anything. He was in New Orleans, I was up there, new job. I mean, I played a little bit of music up there, what I can. You know, had the same problem though. Nobody really wanted to play blues with me in the end, and I really just wanted to play blues.
And then I moved to Texas, and I couldn't find anybody to play blues with here. So we fly up to Hamilton.
Yep, my little one-bedroom apartment. Yep.
Went up there to see him, see how he's doing, making sure he wasn't overworking himself, which he always does.
Oh, I definitely was.
And then from then we knew it was time. You know, everything just fell back into place.
Yeah, but honestly, for me, I was working so much, and I don't know, I was just had a lot going on, and you were kind of like, we would talk on the phone, you were kind of like poking the bear, like, hey man, like, you want to try to like record a song or something?
Don't you miss recording? Well, I would, but my computer's fried. Oh, golly. Hey, go answer the door. I think somebody brought you a computer.
There's an iMac sitting on my doorstep, so I'm like, well, I mean, I gotta at least give this a go. What can I record? And, you know, I just wanted to kind of start with the cover song just because...
And Manus Studios, Hamilton, Ohio, was open.
Yeah, honestly, didn't really have a recording setup going, and got the computer out, got my mixer, all my cables, put it all together, and just start tossing some cover ideas around. And I picked a song I think kind of caught you off guard.
Caught me well off guard.
It was obviously we play blues. I picked more of an R&B song. It was "Use Me," on Bill Withers' song, which that was our first big release on all streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, YouTube, Tidal. Literally anywhere you listen to music, you can go find that, and our tribute to BB. So go give us a listen and a follow, because we will have a lot more music to release for you here soon.
But what I want you to pay attention to when you listen to "Use Me," now, normally it wouldn't be such a big deal, but we recorded "Use Me" in Ohio and Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So I did guitar work remotely, and he still assembled it all up there at Manus Studios, Hamilton.
Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but all we did is I started a project file. When I got done with it, I put it somewhere where I could send it to him. He'd use the same recording software, open the project file, lay down the next part. He'd send it back to me.
And we talk on the phone just before for the preparation that you're going to learn about later.
Yeah, we tried to act
and
like
dude,
we were in the garage.
Seriously, man. I'm happy to admit that the guitar work in "Use Me" is some of my best.
Yeah, and I mean,
period.
I think all the work in every aspect of that song was some of our best, and even when it comes to my vocals, like you said, your guitar.
You know, you mentioned that the
creativity on how to get things done in the recording process, and even mixed. It was our best mixed recording by far when it was done.
I had a Tweed amp, my Les Paul, and a bunch of pedals, and knew that I wanted to retool my sound, so I got one of the new Fender Twin Tone Masters.
Yeah,
those are lightweight,
nice.
man, and they
Those are
sound awesome. So I got that, and I'm like, oh, great, I got good sound again. That's like my third Fender Twin. Got that, and then just totally wiped all the pedals out of the way, started with a tuner, and then went a whole different direction. I was more interested in just a little bit instead of having a lot. I just wanted more volume and less drive, and then balance out the tone that would go along with whatever the environment and the loudness set on the amp. So I'll say this, that's actually the first product of my whole overhaul of my tone. And the sound that I'm playing these days, man, is like some of the best I've ever played. So
see, there's another thing that just got better.
Everything's his voice, folks.
It's like
God.
The more we do this, the more we figure out how to tweak things in our gear or just our approach to something. That's part of the fun, man. Progression, man. You just get better constantly. You can never stop getting better.
Well, I'll say this, you just got here. So, we've had years that we hadn't played. We've gotten and dabbed a little bit, done some stuff, but, by the end of the summer, we'll be tight again the way we used to be.
Absolutely. We're already getting there. We've been playing a lot lately, so. Well, yeah, Use Me, it just blew both of our minds, I think, when it was done. So that's when we would, man, it got us so excited. We would literally talk on the phone every day about what can we do next. And then we start talking like, why don't you just move down here, man? And I had a job I hated and everything. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it.
So I got him to fly down here. Yep. What was that, in February?
Yeah, it was like the end of February because we ended up playing out on Fat Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
So he comes down. We play some open mics. But what really got him, folks, was fresh seafood.
Oh, my goodness. I had never had act like a seafood boil till
We're only a few miles from the water where I'm at right now. So fresh seafood, fresh everything, fresh vegetables.
I mean, we're a couple miles from a place that has shrimp and crawfish boil, and I could eat that every day of my life.
Right.
Like when I went back
home. It's 1.1 mile up the road.
When I went back home just from having it once, that's all I thought about it every day. I was making my own seafood boil,
that wasn't it. I also got him on breakfast tacos. Man, we've got some badass across the street.
Everybody makes fresh tortillas every day around here, man.
Yeah, they do.
You just buy the
and salsa
pre-packaged whatever the store's got back home, man, and hope they don't fall apart when you roll them up.
So now he came down here, saw how I needed help with the blues down in Texas, and what a guy comes down here to help me.
Oh man, that first week I flew down, I mean, I was sold maybe 3 or 4 hours after I get off the plane, and I mean, I should have been tired. I had a few drinks at like 7:30 in the morning at the airport on a layover. I get here about 1 o'clock maybe. They come pick me up from the airport. We get those tacos right away. I'm already, okay, yeah, I like it here. We go out to an open jam, an early open jam. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock when we were playing. So like I should have been dead tired, but I felt all right. And we go up into this bar, Katie's in Baycliff, close to where we're at now. We get up early in their open jam, play with the random bass player and drummer who were awesome, and man, we just start playing. As soon as we start playing blues, I think we started with 3 o'clock blues, B.B. King song. But we start playing and just they get up and start dancing. There's a dance floor in front of us. I have never had that in Ohio, especially with blues music. You play blues up there, everybody would much rather just hear something new or a tribute band, something they know. We're down here, blues is just a whole different vibe. It's amazing.
Yeah, and our vibe of how we do it is fresh to everybody down here.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them about the people you got on the dance floor.
Well, yeah, we go play another open jam just a few days later. That was Sharky's in Galveston, and we actually rehearsed with a few guys. That was a lot of fun, and we went out there and just rocked out, and again, just big old dance floor full of people. That was on Fat Tuesday, so it was real lively in Galveston. They do an awesome Mardi Gras here. I can't wait to be here for the whole thing next year. Or
yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be up in New Orleans for that one.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it's awesome. When I flew back from that, I was like, "Yep, yeah, this is a good decision. I need to go down there, man. We can."
Well, and then we get like the biggest gig, few thousand people.
Yes.
To the Yagas cook-off, which we're participating in this cook-off next year, folks.
Yeah, we ended up playing.
It was cool playing in front of all these plays, but the one part I liked, it was Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
So Tyler gives this shout out to, hey, happy Mother's Day, And man, it's like you could hear all these people way in the back starting to go, ah! We're like, what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
gig
was very cool.
That gig was, to me, kind of the start of, Pabst and Kwin. We just told them about 1.0, we call it.
That's where 2.0 began.
Yes.
Sure
This
did.
is where the new Pabst and Kwin 2.0.
And we did a great show up at Fig Leaf up in Middletown. That was fun.
Yeah, so I had planned to just move down here after May when my lease was up back home, and yeah, he gets this gig at the August Wild Game Cook-Off. That's what we were talking about. That was like in the middle of May, so I'm like, all right, it's cool, man. I'll fly up there, or I'll fly down to you. I'll come like a week or so early so we can practice for it. And then I'll fly back up and I'll come back down with all my stuff. Well, we ended up fortunate enough. We booked a couple gigs up in Ohio, so Quinn was able to come back with me. Then I didn't have to drive back down here by myself because that would have sucked. But yeah,
and that's
so we ended
another
up
adventure.
playing at Fig Leaf Brewing in Middletown. It's one of the places with the pizzas we were telling you about.
Marco, great job,
Yeah.
sir. Thanks for taking care of us.
Big, that was great, man. We had a huge turnout at that show. Like I said, that's where we got Sticks McSwain, our old drummer, back in for a show with us. So we got to rehearse with him a few days before that. I mean, we literally, once we played that Wild Game Cook-Off, all we did for a month was music, pretty much. If we weren't booked,
Dude, if it weren't for the Thursday we decided to practice with Sticks, we would have gone to that place and played 6 nights in 7 days.
That was crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Man,
because if we weren't playing a show, like I said, we had a couple shows up there, but if we weren't playing one, we were going out to an open jam. And everywhere we'd go, I mean, people would be bobbing their head, moving around. We were starting to get some people dancing in Ohio. It was cool.
Well, for those of you that have seen us at open mics, we kind of go in, we're all nice and polite until we start playing, and then we kind of bully ourselves in like a tick on a dog so that we can play several songs. And
yeah, gig bag
what was
gas back there nodding his
a
head.
slice of
Leo's at the Slice. Yeah, it was a new venue I had never been to. Real cool.
Dude, we
stage
opened
and
up
stuff,
that
yeah.
one, the open mic, and the guy just told us basically play, and we played 45 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, a lot longer than we thought we were going to.
And that was a really cool stage. I like that.
Everywhere we go and play ends up being just like, to us at the time, like the best night ever, man.
Yeah, it's becoming a lot of fun.
Which is why we do it. It's just that much fun. I mean, I think we both have other things we like to do for fun, but nothing compares just going out somewhere and just putting on a show and people really enjoying it.
Well, I got to tip my hat to Jerry. Jerry has been amazing.
Oh, absolutely. That would be Quinn here, significant other. She's done
the
so
director
much
of marketing at Moody Gardens.
Yeah.
And, man, she's the one who put us in contact with these people. She knows everybody. So as we get stuff more matured, we actually will have access to radio, television, the visitor bureaus for Houston, Galveston, the blues bars in Shreveport, and access to getting booked at the casinos in Lake Charles.
Casino shows would be fun. We've been talking about those for a while. This would be a lot of fun. Casinos, blues for hire, all right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, like when you said Jerry, man, I feel like we were talking earlier, you sent a computer to my house. I feel like after you guys came to visit, man, she wanted to see this happen.
Oh, dude,
as much as you did.
She loves blues music. And she's like been going through the vacuum of it down here. It's I'm from here, and blues changed somehow, some way. I don't know if it was COVID, because I wasn't here before that, but years ago when I was here, Texas blues was romping because you had people like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and you still had Albert Collins, and these kind of people here in Texas still killing it. Johnny Winter. Mm-hmm. But now it's like it's still loved by people. It's like when they find out there's some blues, go, oh yeah, we're all coming out. But so I think she knows that we have the kind of show that's going to fill a lot of voids. Not to mention Moody Gardens, where she is, may need, us as a band to help them with their ongoing things, from blues cruises to booze cruises. What?
Booze cruises, yeah.
But
that's a
anyway,
good idea.
you know what I'm talking about. They have all kinds of different areas down there where they have live music. So look forward to some of that.
Oh, I look forward to anywhere that wants some good live music, because you said the key word, show. We don't just go play music. We put on a show. I mean, we really do work hard at everything.
I've waved at an audience before. Here's my biggest move.
Nah, you saw in the intro, in the intro sequence, we saw you going out there interacting with the crowd.
I don't know what he's talking about.
We're fun. That's the main point there. So yeah, man. I mean,
yeah. Speaking of that intro, it looks like I'm barking and yelling at somebody, and I am. Anyone want to guess who it was? The fire department. But I was actually telling them, man, they were doing a great job, and we appreciated them.
Oh, so man. Yeah, so I've officially been here for a week now, man.
Wow.
One whole week.
And
right here at 3 a.m. a week ago.
When does your Greyhound bus ticket say you're leaving?
Man, I ain't going nowhere. You are stuck with me. You hear that? Houston, Galveston, League City, all the surrounding areas. You are stuck with me, Quinn, Pabst and Kwin.
So reach out to Quinn at pabstandkwin.com, and we'll get your travel arrangements made quickly for the summer for Pabst and Kwin.
Hey, man, that's a
From
good point.
Pabst and Kwin Travel.
That's a good point, though, man. Like, so we do all our own production work and everything we do, and that does include things like our website. You want to tell them where they can find everything about us?
PabstandKwin.com. PabstandKwin.com. If you ever need some fun old blues, go to PabstandKwin.com.
He's had this stuck in my head for the whole week I've been here.
It's like one of those sick little jingles from the ice cream truck two blocks over that you can't get out of your head for a while.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. Everything we have is up there. You can go there and find all the video work we do, what we're up to.
Now, we just had a very busy month of May. We're still going to be doing a lot of editing and this and that for final additional products. And then I'll be rebuilding and growing the website. So give me some time to get caught up, and then I'll get some other stuff added to our website.
Yeah, we got a lot of exciting future plans here.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So, I mean, that pretty much wraps up the story of Pabst and Kwin, but
we hope now you understand how we got to where we are right now, other than my truck.
Before we head out, though, anything, doesn't even have to be music, anything you're just excited about in general?
I'll say this. Seeing all you familiar faces up in Ohio was really awesome.
It was, and
it'd been a few years for me, so
yeah, for me,
it was awesome.
Leaving there, seeing all the faces, a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time, and everything that came out to support my last couple shows up there. I really appreciate y'all for that too.
Now, I'm gonna call out some couple people here: John, Grayson, Steve, Nathan. Any of you? Well, Nathan and I, that's gonna be a little difficult. But any of y'all have a really big show coming up toward the end of summer, let us know, because we do have some tentative travel back late August. So if y'all got something going on, we'd love to come and root you on.
That, and to any other artists, especially local, the Galveston, Houston, but really from anywhere. So even all the people we just called out up there in Ohio, anybody that's got a local business they want to promote. One of the goals of our podcast here is we want to be able to help support local music and businesses.
In fact, this is how we're going to do that. I support Guitar Lounge in Galveston, Texas, because they set my Les Paul up, did a heck of a job.
Man.
And you?
Yeah. Guitar Lounge, man. The home of tone in Texas. Man.
Absolutely.
Go see Glenn down there. I'll tell you, that first trip we were talking about when I came up here, I had 2 guitars to choose from to travel with, and I brought my Telly, my tried and true Telly that's been with me forever now, and I always play it, but it was in rough shape. It had a pickup with screws missing. It was all hanging there. Like, I wasn't going to be able to play this guitar live, but I brought it down because he had told me about this place. So we take it down, we see Glenn. I leave it with him for a night. They give me this guitar back. Not only did he fix the pickup, but he went through and did the best setup I could have imagined. He straightened the neck out. It had a little bit of a warp going on. Made sure the intonation was perfect. Threw on some new strings for me. When I got that back, it played better than it ever did. I'm talking better than it did when it was brand new.
Yeah, I think they're guitarlounge.com or Galveston Guitar Lounge.
GalvestonGuitarLounge.com.
Yeah.
We'll throw...
when you guys come down and visit, we'll take you over there to
screen.
get your guitars fixed.
Yeah, and not to mention, man, we got to check out his Falcon Guitar Company guitars. They make,
whoa. They still got a guitar over there I want to buy, so I can't take anybody over there until I get it.
I mean, I know I want a Strat, and I played some of the Strats these guys built. I'm like, I might...
Careful, you're giving away the plan.
Want one of these.
So anyways, man, we appreciated y'all taking time to share our time with us, about us, and for us, and to you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more podcasts and all kinds of different music videos we're going to be putting out.
Oh, and watch pabstandkwin.com. Within the next couple weeks, I'm going to be launching a newsletter. So watch for that. Send me your email address, and I will put you on the subscription list, no charge. But that'll be a little newsletter that comes out to everybody and lets them know what's been going on.
Heck yeah, and one last thing, if you are interested in joining us on the Pabst and Kwin podcast, just go ahead and shoot an email to Quinn at pabstandkwin.com or pabstandkwin.com, and we will we'll talk, and we would love to get you on here. So thanks everybody for listening. Enjoy some Pabst and Kwin on the way out here.
Absolutely, man.